What is going on YouTube? It's Brendan from Market Makers. Guys, didn't get a video out yesterday. Was under the weather. Weather's been snapping back and forth, hot and cold here. Just kind of got to me. I was worn out. But I'm going to do a good video for you today. We're going to cover the marketplace as per usual. But I want to talk about something that I've been seeing on Twitter. I've been more active on Twitter ever since Elon bought it. Imagine that, because you can talk about different topics now as well. But I noticed a lot of the same influencers ever since the FTX debacle. And don't worry, we are not talking about Stranger Freed today. I'm sick of talking about him. You guys can read about him more if you want. But I noticed since the FTX debacle, a lot of the same influencers that were predicting 250K Bitcoin, 500K Bitcoin, 1 million Bitcoin are now the same influencers telling you what the next exchange is to fail. So I do agree, and I have said before, there will be other failures. So what you need to do, guys, and I advocate this since the beginning, don't use your exchange as a wallet. But I think the difference between some of these influencers and some of you watching this channel is we trade. I'm retired. I trade full time. I need exchanges to trade on. Some of you may feel the same way. You need an exchange. If you don't have an exchange, you wouldn't have caught that 28% drop in Bitcoin that we talked about here on YouTube and trade it in the room as well, right? So you need an exchange to trade. So the best thing you can do is look for transparency in this space. Now, if you look at BitGet, if you go to their website, I had 2 conference calls with BitGet yesterday. They are publishing a Merkle tree of their reserves after the audit's complete. That's going to be available on their website. They have an insurance fund set up, $300 million. That's in the news today as well. Now, does that make them perfect? No, but it does make them more transparent than some of these other exchanges, okay? So I trade on BitGet. We've never had problems on BitGet. We have thousands of people on BitGet. So this is something I'm using. It as one of the largest exchanges, and it seems to be, again, I have no inside detailed knowledge, but it seems to be one of the better run exchanges based on the shenanigans we're seeing in this space. Did someone say shenanigans? So guys, SimpleFX as well is where I trade the equities, commodities, and Forex. And that is a different type of exchange. Americans don't know about CFD exchanges, but a CFD exchange is a futures only exchange. You cannot buy or sell spot on SimpleFX. They use liquidity brokers, an STP type exchange. They use liquidity brokers that goes out, your contracts get circulated with millions of other contracts, and people take other side of the trade. Okay, so SimpleFX uses segregated accounts and cold storage for the vast majority of the assets. So these are my 2 sponsors. The links are in the video description. It is where I personally trade. I try to do my best due diligence to be honest and upfront with you guys. This is where I trade and a lot of members trade, and they are 2 places that, again, never having complete inside knowledge, but they are 2 places that I particularly trust to trade, having been in this game for quite a long time now. So let's jump into the TA, guys. If you do want to come trade with us in our Discord, use the link in the video description because it is half off to join our Discord. If you want TA, trade signals, all that fun stuff, come check us out, guys. $20 gets you in the room, and you can check out the room, see if you like it. I have a feeling you will. We've had dozens of people join now in the last couple of videos since we've been doing this half off sale. So if you want to come check it out, it is a good time to do so. No risk to you, no obligation to stay on after your month. So come check it out, and I would love to talk to you guys in the room. And let's go ahead and look at this. So DXY, guys, what's going on? I'll try to make this video fast for you. I know a lot of you have to get to the Catalina wine mixer, and I got to get your music video out. So let's look at this. We're looking at the DXY. Where could this fall to? If it does fall, here's your 200 moving average. The 1618 is at 104.665. So that's a possibility of where it could go. It's just bobbing around here, right? So again, the DXY being down, this is interpreted as bullish for the markets. The 10-year coming back down to support at 3.7. Again, interpret it to be bullish for the markets, although you're still at a decade high, okay, on the 10-year, close to a decade high on the 10-year. But overall, this is because the economy is weakening, and you're going to see at the end, you will see a lower dollar, lower tenure, and lower stock prices, okay? Let's check out Bitcoin, see what's going on. So on the weekly candle, we've had some action on the weekly, but again, key support here at the 16,112, okay, 16,112, and your key resistance has been 16,874, and you're stuck between the two on the weekly time frame. Your 233 and 200 are both above you, substantially up at around 24K. Now, if we go to the daily chart, since I left you last, guys, not a lot's changed. You're really just ranging. You may be ranging for a little bit. This happens after dumps, right? The market's trying to settle. You're stuck on the daily between 17,800 and the 618 at the bottom here at 16,058. So you're just ranging. You fell down and now you're going up and down. This is what we talked about before, right? Just like you did up here. You could just be going up and down for a while until you get some catalyst in the marketplace, something that excites or spooks the market, such as a major market rally, you could go up, right? Major market dump, you could go down. And of course, an existential risk such as multiple exchanges failing or something, you could have other issues there. If we look at Bitcoin, I don't see anything really developing here on the MFI of note. Your volume's decent, although it's buying and selling volume. It's just volume momentum. And if we go ahead and look over at the 4 hour time frame, gives you some more fib levels here. You're getting rejected routinely at 17,126 on the BITGET chart, guys. 17,126 has given you some really good trade entries here for smaller time frame, okay? So watch that. If you do wave back up to that 17,126, that is your 0.5 fib. And of course, the 618's at 17,441. And let's go ahead and get rid of that and see if we can get some downward projections. If we do a wave projection, do this. Oops, wrong candle. To come back to that. Put that up here. You've basically, well, this is a wave, but you know, you're 16,264, 15,988, 15,711 is the 618, but you're not even touching this. You've got down to the 0.5, almost a 618. So it just depends how you want to measure this, right? Because you could just use a fib retracement as well, depending where you want to go on this. If you want to do something like that, or pull it over here, you have to play with this to see what sets up best. And I would definitely try out the bodies as well instead of the wicks to see if you get something better. So if you just pull a fib retracement this way, you get a totally different set of numbers here. But you would be trading at about the 618, which is 16,489, which is where you're at now, okay? So it's another way to look at your fib on the 4 hour time frame. I prefer fib waves. If we look at the momentum, MFI, you're still bearish. Volume is turning, volume momentum is bearish as well. Or I should say you're losing velocity on the momentum of the price, which is why you're dipping down. And just be aware of your shapes. We talked about this the last couple of videos. Watch for your double tops. Let's go ahead and jump over to XRP. XRP is ranging, Bitcoin's ranging, lots of other things are going to range. Other things will pump or dump independently. Below your 200 here, okay? Of note, you're below your 200. You do have an M pattern forming here on the daily time frame on XRP, which can be what, guys? A double top, right? So let's go ahead and look at this on maybe, let's see what the 4 hour looks like. 4 hour, you are just ranging again. You can see this potential double top forming. So watch this. You have the 1618 at 31,824 and the one fib above you at 40 cents, almost 41 cents. And of course, you could always do tighter projections if you do smaller time frames and do something like this. Come up, come down, come up like that, and you can look at the fib that you're being rejected at, the 764 at 39 cents, and you're currently trying to hold the 0.5 fib at 36 cents, 620, okay? And you can do the same thing on a wave projection down. You can use fib retracements. There's not a golden rule for this. I use what fits best. How do you know what fits best? Where are you getting the most accurate tracking from? What looks like it's tracking the best? That's how you know what fits best, okay? You can use line charts, you can use candles, and sort it out. Now, in the 4 hour time frame, of note, right, your 200, 233 are above you. Those can always give you good trades, but you can see your targets here on the downside against 618 at 34 cents, one fib at 31 cents, 1618 would be 26 cents, but you're just doing a wave, guys. You're just waving in a lot of these assets. Solana, the same thing, as you can see, getting rejected at $14, 62 cents multiple times here. So if you do see Solana come back up to 14.62, keeping in mind it does go above it on a wick, okay, but you're getting closes below it. So anything above 14.62, this is a 4-hour time frame. Potential little trade there, again, potential little trade, but these are decent sized moves because crypto is more volatile. And on top of that, obviously Solana is linked heavily with the FTX debacle as well. So keep an eye out for that. But other than that, you are just waving inside your Wyckoff trading range. Let's look at Matic. Matic on the 8-hour, right? So 8-hour time frame. And we can do Matic. Little trend fib projection here. You are hovering at the 88-cent level. Above you would be 95 cents. The 618, which would basically be your neckline here for your double top. Here's your 200 below you, and the 233 price is still wedged between the 200 and 233 on the 8-hour. And the 618 is at 82 cents. You lose that, you break this double top, guys. And I would look for Matic to go to 61 cents approximately if you break that double top, okay? And if it went really down low, then you're looking at the 1618 at 27 cents. But it wouldn't do that just from the double top breaking. You need some type of catalyst to really drive that price down. Let's go ahead and jump to the equities. We have the Dow is being extremely stubborn. Now, looking at the Dow, we are in the bullish side of the money flow here on the weekly time frame. Very low volume participation here for volume momentum on the weekly time frame, pumped above the weekly 50. Again, if this was a vacuum and you knew nothing else about the macro market, you knew nothing else about the other indices, this could be perceived as bullish. However, when you look at this, you're in a primary downtrend, pumped above resistance. But let's go ahead and zoom into the daily here to look at this, okay? Because some key things are happening on the daily. Just like with our Bitcoin trade, we had resistance, right? We had bearish divergence with the money flow. You can see that here. Now, I know I have a lot of fibs on here, but the fibs... let's go ahead and I'll just take these off so you can see this a little bit. So your bearish divergence, right? So right here, turn that off. Here's your peak on your MFI, this candle. You see that? And so you had this candle right here also kind of be a confluent peak. Now the MFI dropped down, price dropped down. You got a lower high here on the MFI. Yet you have a higher high here in price. And then look at this major divergence. You are way down here on the money flow. This is money flowing out of the asset, and you have a higher high again in price. So in daily time frames across all the indices, except for the NASDAQ, I think, across the Russell, the Dow, and the S&P, you have bearish divergence on the MFI. Okay, what is that symbolic of? Why does that mean anything? It's not just the fact you have bearish divergence, it's the fact you have bearish divergence and you're at key resistance areas such as the 618 Fibonacci fan pumped above the 200, 233 here on the daily. But the Dow is an outperformer, and I think it will be coming back down to earth. Okay, and if we look at this smaller fib retracement here that we pulled, you're struggling at the 33,598 level, the 618. And again, just looking at, top potential here, you're getting supply dumped on the candle. So we'll see what happens here, how this ends up playing out. Again, this is a daily time frame. Let me get my other fibs back. There we go. Daily time frame. And let's go ahead and go to the smaller, actually, that's the weekly time frame for the Russell. Let's go to the Russell. Russell also at key resistance, the 50 on the weekly, 618, pumped above the 200, 233. So looking at the Russell actually has weekly divergence as well, okay? So the Russell has weekly divergence. You actually made a higher high in price and a lower high in the MFI. So you have the pump candle here. This is on the weekly time frame, guys. And then you have a lower high here at the end of the trend, and you have a higher high in price. So we also have very low volume momentum. Again, below average volume on the rally, which you can see better on the daily time frame. Daily time frame, here's the divergence on the MFI. You can see it here as well. So we have our price over here. We have this candle here give you your high on the MFI. You made higher highs in price, and that's why price is rolling down. You hit peak resistance, this quadrant, this trade I shared with you guys, the 200 moving average. This is also posted in our room. There's a lot of people that are in this trade, including myself. And Russell's trading at 1858. a $50 drop from the high that I got to in this quadrant. Okay, so the Russell's in nice profit right now. Volume momentum is bearish. Fewer people are paying higher prices. Again, symbolic of a top forming. So the Russell, what I'm looking for as this starts to roll over, again, this will depend also on the other marketplaces, but is initially a retest of the 50 on the daily around 1776. Very key year in the USA, but around 1776. So roughly another $100 down. Okay, so this could turn into a very, very nice trade here on the daily time frame. And let's look at S&P. S&P on the weekly, again, trying to pump up out of this candle. Again, guys, I have all these pumps failing. And everybody, like, when you look at things on the weekly time frame and you look at them zoomed out, right, regardless of the narratives that you hear on TV, when you just listen to people on TV and they say, oh, the S&P 4,600, right? Like Tom Lee's out there saying that, 4,300, 4,600. When you look at the trend, guys, weekly time frame, this is a primary downtrend. They say the same thing at the all-time high. Oh, let me get rid of that. They say the same thing at the all-time high up here, right? You're going higher. And then you have your fall, and then you move back up. Lower high, lower high. This will be another lower high. You are in a primary downtrend, guys, and this is still going down. The economy will continue to weaken. Okay, the economy is weakening. Q4 earnings will be out. Those should be worse than Q3. Q4 is projected to be negative, and then you have Q1 coming next year, guys. We haven't even gotten to a recession yet, and look at the primary trend. Again, the broader market is down. You've already dropped below your 200 on the weekly time frame. You are making, I mean, you can draw a line across this, guys. You can draw a trend line across this to show you exactly what's happening here in the marketplace. Got a body there, and we didn't even pump up to this trend line still, okay? But you're already getting a lot of supply dumped on you. I think all of this is coming back down. If we look at the SPX and the daily, bearish divergence. Again, guys, the broader market, look at this. Multiple lower highs in the MFI, multiple higher highs in price, okay? With the lowest high in the MFI being your highest high in price. Again, at key resistance, the 200 and 233. Remember, I told you it could pump up to here, and what happened? You wicked it and got rejected. Could you try it again? Sure, you could. You're building a top. You could easily come back up and try it again. Point being, you have bearish divergence, you have low participation. This was a rally, I've been telling you since the beginning, has been low volume, okay? Low volume rallies at key resistance form tops. You are approaching and hit key resistance, you have divergence, and you have fewer participants, and you have below average volume. You're forming a top. The markets are all priming to come down, okay? External news factors can kick the markets up, like, oh, this indicator shows inflation may be coming down. At some point, the market's not going to care about not having peak inflation, and it's going to come to the realization the economy is worsening. Companies are doing layoffs. Amazon's letting go another 11,000 people. Meta's letting go people. Maybe it's 10,000 and 11,000. I had those two numbers backwards. But Meta's letting go people. Big companies are laying people off, and that's going to spread as economic conditions worsen, guys. So this is all a spiral that has to come undone. So again, this is another area that you could potentially trade here, especially if you retest the 233 or the 200, okay? Watch the S&P. These are key areas to pay attention to. And let me go ahead and throw a fib on here, and then we'll do the NASDAQ really quickly so you guys can see this with a fib. Let's go. Oops. Look at that beautiful kiss up there on the 200. And let's just throw that down there and there. So the fib that you're getting caught up at is the 764 fib, okay? You're getting hit at 4,015 is a fib that's rejecting you. And again, you got the 233. These are all great trade setups, guys. And you can trade all this stuff on SimpleFX. You can learn about these trades and how to do these trades, execute these trades, get the education you need on our Discord. So definitely take advantage of that link. All the links are in the video description. And let's look at the NASDAQ really quickly. NASDAQ's been the weakest, guys. And look at this kiss. 12,086 on the 618. 12,086. Look at the, do you guys see that candle? I know, I geek out for this. Look at this candle. 12,086 is the fib. What's the high? 12,084.8. 12,084.8. So you got within $1.20 of the 618 on a $12,000 asset. $1.20. I mean, isn't that incredible? Guys, you can learn fib techniques. I highly suggest you incorporate fib techniques into your trading. And again, this is something that I teach. This is how I trade. Geometric trading concepts, Wyckoff volatility ranges, combined with fibs and patterns. This is how I trade. It is such an important way to understand the marketplace. So you also pick up these tips, hopefully watching this channel. We're at 20 minutes. I don't want to stay too long. So the last two videos have been killers of time. So if you look at that, this is where we're getting rejected from. Again, this has been in the worst shape. Weekly time frame, we're still bearish, low volume participation. Daily time frame, you can see the rejection up here. The way the fib's laid out here, it's the 1.128 at 12,021, and you can see we fell back down again, looking to build a top. Now, of note, the key resistance for the NASDAQ is up here, this dream quadrant, right? 12,638, 200, 233, 618 Fibonacci fan, but you're struggling just to stay above the 50. I don't know if you will get up there. The big tech trade is being rotated out of by a lot of different firms because they're looking at value. Growth is getting decimated, but if you do get up there, pay attention to that quadrant around 12,638. Guys, like, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. Kept it kind of short, reasonably short. Talk to you guys next video. Take care, everybody.